Hi, this is Pat. Let's look at the performance of Invesco India Midcap Fund, the features of the Morningstar fund page. I've received many requests from readers or viewers to look at this fund and also explore the features of Morningstar. So I thought I'll combine the two. So if you look at the fund page of Morningstar, you will see several tabs. I am now in the overview tab. You have a portfolio, a detailed portfolio tab, a performance, and a risk rating tab. And in this fact sheet tab, you can download the basic information in all these tabs as a PDF file. So let's now scroll down the overview page. You get the usual the performance chart. It says login to view full chart. I don't think it's necessary for this fund, but the login is free. You can get a free login and view for older funds if necessary. And it also gives you an overview of the the kind of stocks that the fund holds. The style box, unlike you see in value research, it's a little more detailed. It tells you exactly where the fund is in terms of small cap, mid cap, large cap, value, in blend and growth, and it also gives you an overview of where all the stocks are. So it gives you a little more detail of the stock style or the style box compared to value research. It also has something called the sustainability score. Sustainability score essentially means that it looks at the stocks in the portfolio and it tells you how the stocks are handling ESG issues, that is environmental, social and governance issues or challenges, how the stocks in the portfolio are handling that. I am not sure how relevant this is for mutual funds or even stocks in India, because ESG rules are, I would say, not as evolved as in developing countries, and I'm not sure how rigorously they are enforced. So I would suggest that at least for now, or at least until you understand it better, you ignore it. Of course, if you want to understand it better, if you click on this information icon, there's a paper here, you can read more about it. And one good thing about the Morningstar page compared to value research is, for those who are obsessed with who the fund manager is, it kind of gives you a timeline of who the fund manager is and when they started investing when they start managing the fund and when they exited and so on. So that gives you it gives you an overview. You can understand much better and so on. In terms of holdings, it gives you detailed holdings of when the stock was sold, how much was sold, and so on. You can get that in the detailed portfolio. I'm not going to get into that. So this pretty much the information you see here will also be found in the portfolio tab. So I don't want to. So this is the portfolio tab. I think you will not find anything. You'll get a little more details about the sector allocation and so on. So don't worry about this. I'm as usual interested more in the risk rating tab, as that's my that's what I love the most. So again, you see these standard alpha, beta, R squared, standard deviation numbers. But what I like about the Morningstar page is it gives you this data for 3 years, 5 years, and 10 years separately. So if you look at this, for 3 years the fund risk has been below average and the return has been above average. 5 years it's kind of average, and 10 years again it's been return has been well above average and risk just below average. And also another thing I love is that it gives you a kind of a grid map between the volatility, the standard deviation or the risk, versus the returns. So now you can see over 10 years, I'm now in 10 years I think, so over 10 years you can see that the category, generally the mid-cap category has been less volatile than the index. The index is BSE mid-cap, and the fund has been has had even lesser volatility than the category, and it has given a little bit more return. So in the horizontal axis is the risk. So this is the index right in the center. As you go towards the left, the risk is lower. As you go up, the return is higher. So you can see that the fund has got a lower risk and a higher return. Again, if you notice over 5 years, it's managed to do well, just stay above the index and the category, and over 3 years it has not managed to beat the index, but its volatility is less. Of course, most funds in the category have also not managed to beat the index, so I think it's quite fine. So from that standpoint, I think Invesco Midcap has had a good performance track record. Also, you will see the downside protections. This is the upside capture and the downside capture. Recall, this is what I keep talking about, and this is what I use in my own fund screeners. So this is over 3 years, right? So over 3 years, the fund has managed to capture 91% of the benchmark's gains whenever the benchmark gained, and but that's not so important. What's more important is that it has only captured 90% of the benchmark's losses whenever the benchmark fell. So that's more important. And if you look at the long-term 10-year return, the 10-year data, the upside is almost 100%. That's pretty good. That's usually not the case, but it's pretty good. But the downside is fantastic. It has, it has only captured 76% of the benchmark's losses over 10-year period, and that's pretty fine. It's fantastic. And it also gives you the drawdown. That is the drawdown means how much it fell from a peak to so it from a peak it fell by 37%. So that is on October 1st, 2008, it had peaked, and then it fell down by 37% on February 8th, 2009, and that period was 5 months. So these are all measures of risk, different ways of measuring risk. So you get fantastic detailed information, and it's very good for DIY investors to learn this from Morningstar. And of course, Invesco Midcap is definitely not a bad fund. It's a pretty good fund, I would say. The only issue is, would you like to choose Invesco as a fund house? I mean, it's a small fund house comparatively. It was actually Religare Invesco. Religare sold off, I think, in 2015-ish sometime, and it has been Invesco since then. But I mean, as long as you don't care about that, if you look at only performance, then it's fine. I mean, a small fund house need not essentially be a negative point. But some people have issues. I mean, including me. Sometimes I think, oh, it's a small fund house. Why do I need to do it? But I mean, I am invested in Quantum. I'm invested in PPFAS. Those are also small fund houses. So I mean, it's not logical. But sometimes our fears are not logical. So, but if you don't care, I think Invesco is pretty fine. So one more tab is this performance tab. Here you can see the the chart, return chart. This gives you the annual returns, and you can also see for every year the where the fund was. Here in 2008, for example, it was on the bottom, then it moved up, and it's kind of stayed there. 2015 it moved down. These are all annual performances. It was down, and then in 2000 year to date, just in the last year from 25th November, it has been on the top. So you can see that the rank and the number of categories in the fund it's fantastic information. Now this is more about Morningstar, the kind of details that it gives you. It's fantastic. Now you can also see the trailing returns. Another good thing about Morningstar, it gives you this for people who love star ratings. You can see the star rating for 3-year, 5-year, and 10-year, and that's more important, right? I mean, it gives you consistency for those who want consistency in performance with respect to peers. You get a nice, concise information in terms of star rating. For those of you who want to take it seriously, I don't take it seriously, but there are many people who do. So again, you can see the rank and the number of funds and the percentile rank for 5 years, 10 years, and so on. So it's Morningstar is, in my opinion, is a far superior portal than Value Research for doing fund analysis. And the fund I have chosen, Invesco India Midcap, has a very good track record. And if you don't mind investing in a small fund, in a small AMC, there's no problem at all. So I'll catch you again in another video. Bye bye.